सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We'll chant the first 3 verses together. Anyasya dosha ganana kutukam mamaitat avishkaroti niyatam mai doshavatvam doshah punarmai na chedakhile satishe दोषग्रहः कथमुदेतु ममेष तस्मिन् एषा व्यथेतरकृतेति ममेष तस्मिन् कोपो यदि स्वपरकाममुखप्रसूता सेयं व्यथेति मयि मे न कथन्नु कोपः स्वस्य व्यथा स्वदुरित प्रभवा हि सर्वा कामभृत्यखिलदोषनिधेर्ममेष मय्याह दोषमिति को नु दुराग्रहोऽस्मिन् हेयत्वमालपतियो मलन्नकेन वार्योऽथ सत्त्ववती सोऽयं हसत्किमाह. So, we have seen the third verse also, where there is a thin skin as far as criticism is concerned. Where criticism is concerned, the skin is very thin. What kind of criticism? Justified criticism. Whatever the other person thinks is justified, and whatever that is being told which is one already has. You can't tell anybody anything. This is the idea. Because as soon as you tell somebody something, even if it is true, then what happens? There is a terrible reaction. Either they explode or they implode, and then it becomes a huge thing. And then after studying these 3 verses, one feels like going back home, because I should take to a life of what? Maunam. Because what's the use of talking? No talking possible. Nothing. I should not tell anything about anybody to anybody. How I will live like this? Can't live like this at all. I have to just stop talking and come on. Who can, let's be realistic. Who can lead this kind of a life? Tell me. Occasionally some garam masala is needed. Some little, to put on top. And otherwise, what's the life will become so boring. And already Vedantins are accused of having what? A boring life. And this is simply going to underscore that fact, to emphasize that fact. Very boring it is. So then I can't say anything about anybody, just have to be in the Vivekananda pose, Swami Vivekananda pose, without being Swami Vivekananda, okay? At least if I was in the Vivekananda pose while being like Swami Vivekananda, okay, wonderful. But here I just have to be, what is that? The three monkeys of Gandhiji's. Very boring. So, it shouldn't be so strict, this whole thing. There should be every rule, and you have given us many rules in the first 3 verses, should have some exceptions. Otherwise, what's the point in life? Just go like this, very strict, and don't say anything about anybody, even though they are saying things about me, which is what the 3rd verse was all about. Don't say anything, keep quiet, chup. And here, as though reading our minds, the author gives us 3 conditions where you can tell people, you can point out the doshas. Finally, okay. This is what I was waiting for up till now. This was just really, I felt like I was in some kind of some kind of a jail, Vedanta jail. So now the 4th verse is jailbreak, perhaps. Let's see. Okay, so we'll chant it and then look at that. Yassam shritasvahitadhirvyasanaturastat Yassam shritasvahitadhirvyasanaturastat Doshasya tam prativachostu tadanyadosham Doshasya tam prativachostu tadanyadosham Yadvachmi tanmamanakin kshataye swadosha Yadvachmi tanmamanakim kshataye svajosha Chintaiva metadapanoda phalochitataha Chintaiva metadapanoda phalochitataha Yasam shritasvahitadhirvyasanaturastat Doshasya tam prativachostu tadanyadosham Yadvachmi tanmamanakim kshataye swadosham Tanoda phalochitataha. One more time. Yassam shritasvahitadhirvyasanaturastat Doshasya tam prativachostu tadanyadosham Yadvachmi tanmamanakim kshataye swadosha Chintaiva metadapanoda phalochitataha. 3 conditions are given where fault finding is allowed, or it's not fault finding, actually it is helpful. So what is the first condition? Yaha samshritaha. The one who has taken refuge in you, like a student, or ashritaha, like a child. The child doesn't know what to do. The child will be doing wrong things, and the child is looking up to the mother and the father for right disha, marga, direction. The child is looking to the parents for the correct directions, and then what is happening? Then if it's not finding the directions, what will it do? More wrong things it will do. And so therefore what? So therefore, if someone has taken refuge in you, a small child who doesn't know, and not any child on the road, they will have their own parents. It's your child or somebody that you are responsible for. That is one exception. Or samshritaha means a student. So the student comes to the teacher for guidance. So the guidance has to be given. So the guidance is given by the teacher, and sometimes not just in the matters of Vedanta. This is the correct understanding. That is one kind of guidance. But sometimes there is some corrections in terms of the person's conduct also, to whom? The one who says, Sharanam aham prapadye, I have taken refuge in you, they have to first say. Then some course correction will be in order. Some course correction will be in order. And then, so like this, this is the first condition. Yaha samshritaha. So the one who has taken refuge in you, and then who expects you to guide them on the path to what? Moksha. And moksha doesn't include just Vedanta study. Moksha also includes preparation. Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam, etc. And then what happens as a result of that, if there is all these things, and plus 3 more, what are they? Viveka, Vairagya, Mumukshuta. So if all these things are there, then knowledge will take place. So supposing the student has asked for guidance and the teacher says, here is what you can do to get more Shama, to get more Viveka, to get more Vairagya. So this is pre-Vedanta, Vedanta prep. This is preparation, and so the student can be guided how to listen better, how to not spend the time wasting the time, how to use the time fruitfully. All these things come under this kind of an advice. So then you may give advice. That is the first condition. The second condition comes from somebody called Swahita Dhihi. Who is this Swahita Dhihi? Swahita Abhimukha Dhihi Yasya Saha. The one whose life is oriented towards emotional maturity. Swahita Dhihi means the one who wants to grow to the best of whatever they can. They are introspective by nature, they are self-reflexive by nature, they don't want to keep blaming people. They want to improve, and they need not be a student, they can be a friend. Somebody even who is studying with you. So, do you notice any changes in me in the last 2.5 months? How have I grown? In what areas I need to grow? You can ask a friend like that. And the friend, in this case, according to Sridhara Shastrigal, is allowed to tell you, because why? You asked. And why did you ask? Not out of any other reason, but in order to know how to continue to grow. That is why you asked. You didn't ask for any other reason, because you want to grow, you want to have spiritual growth, emotional maturity, you want to get out of certain tendencies. So you say, do you see any changes in me? And then in what areas are left that still warrant some improvement? What can I do to get rid of certain tendencies? I still have these tendencies. I'm doing Shravanam. I'm doing all these things to not come under the spell of this, that quality. But I have these qualities that I'm not proud of. What do you suggest? What do you think? Then if somebody comes to you of that nature, then you are allowed to tell them. And then the third condition is what? Vyasanena aturaha. Vyasana means here, Vyasana means many things. Vyasana means hobby, Vyasana means punishment, Vyasana means some kind of a reckoning. So many things are there. Here Vyasana means misfortune, calamity. Somebody who is experiencing a calamity. And you have they don't ask you, they don't come and say, because why? They are in emergency situation. They can't come and ask, oh, what should I do to get out of this? They don't even have the viveka to ask. But you notice them undergoing a calamity and you have something to offer, because either you have survived this calamity or what else, or you have some expertise with regard to this calamity. So you tell them, this is how you get out of this. What you are doing is only making it worse. So this is how you get out of this. So here you are not invited. In the first 2 instances, you are invited to give criticism. You are invited to tell them. Why? One has taken refuge in you. And if it's a child, it doesn't know any better. Bhagavan has invited you to guide this child. Or if it is some other person who like a student who has taken refuge in you, they have invited you to be the architect of their antahkarana. And then the third case, there is no invitation coming. Why? Because the person is just basically gasping for air, figuratively speaking. They are in an emergency situation and you are not looking for them, you are not looking for any emergency situation, but what you just happen, you are minding your own business and you find that this person is thrown in your path. You can't unsee them, you can't not see them, they are already there. And so what will you do? If you can help, you will help them by pointing out what needs to be done. And here in the last situation, the idea is the person is fruitlessly going round and round. Whatever they are doing is not helping them. It is putting them more and more, deeper and deeper into calamity. It is drowning them deeper and deeper into calamity. And so therefore what? This is the thing, and it's drowning them deeper and deeper into calamity. So you can make an intervention because they are unable to think. Sometimes in an emergency situation, the worst in the person comes out and they are unable to make proper decisions for themselves. So if they are in this loop of fault finding, gossiping about others and everything, they are unable to care for themselves, and then you can tell them perhaps whatever you can find the fault by saying, this is the problem with with the way in which you are going about your situation. This is the problem. This is why you are not getting proper answers to your situation. This is why you are stuck in this situation and you cannot get out. And here the classic story of Dashamaha, the 10th man, can be talked about. How? So these 10 fellows, 10 brahmacharis, go on a picnic, and then what happens? They have a good time, and on the boat they have to cross a river. On the way to the picnic, they have to cross the river, and then what? They, boys being boys, they shove each other, and one of them falls into the water, comes out again. But anyhow, all these things happen, and one of them is the monitor. And the one who is the monitor has promised the Guru, please let us go, it is Wednesday, all of us want to go. All of us have to go. Where? Somewhere, to have some outing. I will cross them, I will make them cross, and then I will bring them back safely after crossing again. And what does the Guru say? You better, because otherwise I'll be cross. If you don't make them cross properly, I'll be the one who is very cross. So please bring them back safely. So before getting back into the boat on the return ride to the ashram, this monitor, not terribly bright as it turns out, not the Guru's fault, Guru's prarabdha, but not Guru's fault, okay? So he stands them and counts 1 to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no! Oh no! I think one of the boys fell in the river, and the other person, also not terribly bright, said, no, I think he got lost in the forest. Third one says, remember we attended one mela, we went to a fair, and then the third one is stuck in the fair. He was browsing at some shops. And so saying, they are all confused, and then the 8 of them are holding hands and doing a memorial for him, because they have said, they have considered him mritaha, dead or nimagnaha, drowned, dead or drowned in some way, missing in action. And then the leader of the lot, he is so guilty, so frustrated with himself, he goes to a tree and bangs his head against the tree in despair. And this being ancient India, what has happened? There's always some holy people around. And there are sadhus and sadhvis. What is sadhvi? Feminine of sadhu. Sadhvi comes. And then nobody asked her. Nobody went to her help because these 8 people were busy holding hands and doing a memorial and saying, what a jolly good fellow he was. We will miss him terribly. All out of Atma Ajnanam. And their leader meanwhile is committing suicide by banging his head against a tree. And so seeing them as vyasanena aturaha, they were just afflicted by this tragedy, and seeing what is going on, the holy person comes, and what does the sadhvi say? Can I help? Yes, I don't know if you can help, but this is the situation. The 10th person, we were 10, and then the 10th person is missing. And she eyeballs all of them and knows exactly what the problem is, makes all of them stand in a row, and then produces, so to speak, what? The 10th person. The 10th man, the Dashamaha, he was as though gone. Why? Due to ignorance, and is as though come back due to what? Atma Jnanam. He's as though come back. Where had he gone? Nowhere. Nowhere. And so here, because of ignorance, these 10 people were in doldrums, and then it could happen that because of some calamity, like going after the same kind of job when you know that this is not good for me, or going after the same kind of life partner when you know that I better stay away from these kinds of people. So if somebody is doing that repeatedly, then what is the advice? Then somebody can give advice, like what to do in this situation. Perhaps you should change your action, or if the action is needed, perhaps you should change your attitude. This will be, so you are inserting yourself and then telling all these things. Why? How are you telling all these things? You are telling all these things because even though you don't have permission, you have some expertise, and you are lifting them from a extremely dire situation. Okay, these are the 3 conditions. And then here, how do we look for them here? So, yaha samshritaha, yaha swahitadhihi, yaha vyasanaturaha. So then, tat in tasya doshasya tam prati vachaha astu. Astu means let it be. Prati vachaha, discussion and detailing, talking back. Let there be a conversation about tasya doshaha, the dosha of who? The samshritaha, the swahitadhihi, or the vyasanaturaha. And then prati vachaha astu. And there should be a full stop after this. Tadanya dosham comes in the next, is connected to yad vachmi. That we will see later. So, do you understand this much? Yeah, this is what it is, those 3 conditions. And then there, under those conditions, prativachaha astu, let there be some reply, some talk about what they have to overcome, what is going on, why should they do this, all this, prativachaha, then tam prati astu, and then let there be this much. Those are the 3 conditions. What are the 3 conditions? Somebody is your student, and second, or a child. Second condition, somebody who wants to improve themselves and is introspective in nature and is your like a friend or somebody close to you, family member, sibling, whatever, and they say, how can I bring about certain changes in me? What am I doing that's wrong, or what should I be doing that I am not doing? What am I missing? Okay. Then after that, what is the 3rd condition? Somebody in dire distress. So the first two may ask, the third one will not even ask, but you are allowed to insert yourself and take them out of the terrible predicament. All right. And then, next one. Actually, let's stop here and see a little more of this, and then we'll do the next line. So here again I recall Pujya Swamiji's ways, and I have been present when many people would come and say, I am your student, Swamiji, I have dedicated myself to you. Please tell me all the things that are wrong with me so I can correct myself. I have actually lived through this situation. And then what would Pujya Swamiji say? You are fine. You are okay. Keep doing what you are doing. You are all right. You don't need anything. And then the person would go away happily, but still like, oh, I asked but no answer came. Therefore, I guess I must be okay. And so, why? I am sure Pujya Swamiji knew this. Why would he not? I have never seen him tell, you know what, your problem is that you think too much, or your problem is that you do too much. Your problem is that you are not doing enough of this. Never ever seen him tell this to anybody. Nobody. And all of Pujya Swami, I can't vouch for all, but most of Pujya Swamiji's students will also be like that. Same thing, if you go to Swami Sakshat Ji and ask, please, here is a pen and a paper, please list all the things that are wrong with me so that I can correct myself. Yeah. Those who are smiling have already done that. Yeah. So that means what? He will just smile. That's what it is. He will say you are okay, or he'll say let's see. But let's see is as good as let's not see. Okay, yeah. So all the Mahatmas worth their name will not take the bait that this verse is easily offering. The $1 million question is, why not? Because student approaching the teacher, should it not be the teacher's responsibility to guide? Yes and no. Because the first 3 verses, let us not forget the purport of the first 3 verses, and everybody's skin is paper thin. That's what it is. Yeah. Everyone's skin, even the one who says, I have done Sharanagati to you, the person has done Sharanagati to the teacher, all right, but the split ahankara that we talked about, that one says, you do namaskar, I am going to stand in Swami V position, Swami Vivekananda, okay, not this one. Yeah, so, not Swami Viditatmananda ji, because sometimes we call him also Swami V. So here I'm not part of this. You do namaskar, fine, do. Yeah, because the inner split is there. One part of the person wants to hear, the other part of the person says, don't talk to me, talk to my hand. Means full stop, don't say anything. I am not ready to hear. And any teacher of Vedanta, their caliber is such that they are able to discern between this, see this, what is this? This vyatha, this division, this agitation between the 2 parts of the self. One wants to know, the other one's, like children, I am not listening, they say like this. Yeah. So the other one is going like this. Whatever you say, you keep on talking, I am not going to be listening. And so, teacher seeing that, out of karuna and compassion goes, and always in fact lives in Paramarthika, answers the question from Paramarthikam Sat, from the standpoint of Paramarthika. And what is the truth? You are okay. You are just fine. All is well. What should I do to improve? Nothing. You don't need any improvement. This is Satyam. It's not that the teacher is telling a lie. The teacher is talking to what? Is talking from what standpoint? From Paramarthika, from the absolute standpoint, because the relative is what? Relative. Comes and goes. So whatever problems, whatever flaws are there, they are not Satyam. But what is the teacher? Satya Sankalpaha. Very, very important this is. Satya Sankalpaha. All these words will come in the Mundaka Upanishad. Satya Sankalpaha means whatever they think happens. Why does it happen, whatever they think? Because, as I said, when you don't want something, you get it. So the teacher doesn't want anything. So the teacher becomes an altar for other people's wishes. So if you wish something and you pray to that being for that something, then you get it. Why? Because the teacher doesn't want what you are asking for. And so the teacher is what? Satya Sankalpaha. And then Satya Sankalpaha means there comes, it's not just a fun thing to be a Satya Sankalpaha. It comes with a great deal of responsibility, and all that responsibility rests on the 3 inches of this tongue. The whole weight of the responsibility, what to say, what to not say, when to say, how to say, and most importantly, when to not say. That also is very important. Saying things at the wrong time, saying the wrong things, saying it to the wrong people. Wrong people, it's not people who are wrong, but people who are not ready. So therefore, for the teacher confronted with this situation where the student comes and says, I have done Sharanagati and please tell me what is all wrong, in fact the teacher doesn't see anything wrong. See, this is one thing. First thing is the teacher says everything is okay. All is well. You don't need to be fixed up. And then secondly, for the Satya Sankalpa, I said there is a special responsibility how to move about in the world. Very, very carefully. Saying things out of great care, not out of, not out of like flippantly. There is no flippancy here at all. Great care has to be taken. Why? Because if the teacher talks to the student and says to the student, you have 5 problems with you. You are like this, list the 5 things. Satya Sankalpa means what? These 5 which are mithya bhuta qualities become what? Thoughts have power. The thought of the teacher who is what? Has Vairagya, Viveka, everything, and who has Vedanta, the thoughts of the teacher who is a Jnani will have what? Will have even more power, even more weightage. Why? Because that thought is accompanied by total Vairagya. Total Vairagya. So you go to any Mahatma and ask, you try this experiment. Tell me what all is wrong with me, I would like to improve, and then please list. And you take one pen and paper, and they will always say, everything is okay, you are fine, because from the standpoint of Vedanta, anybody who is in the position of a teacher does not want to give any kind of tendencies, overt or covert, a kind of a reality. You don't want to give it the reality, because if you talk about it, then what? Then the student also keeps thinking about it, and then there is no progress at all. And then the thin skin, the student is already feeling criticized, and then criticism from a friend is one thing, but criticism from a teacher is impossible to bear. Absolutely impossible to bear. And so therefore, the teacher is very, very, very careful in how the words are used. How the words are used, how they are communicated, and each teacher has their own way of doing this. Each teacher will say certain things. Somebody told me that they had gone to Swami Viditatmananda ji 2 or 3 times and said, please tell me the things that I need to improve upon. And he said, next time. Next time you come. Next time we'll see. And then what about the next time? Never comes. Next time does not come. And it won't come also. Because that's a great responsibility. So that means the teacher is abdicating the another responsibility of guiding the students. No, guidance happens. Guidance is happening all the time. And even to come out of certain, whatever those flaws are in oneself, in a teaching situation, guidance is happening. Teacher is teaching. We have to see very carefully how that teaching is happening. The teaching doesn't just happen sitting here and then the teacher sitting in one place and the student sitting in the classroom. That is not the only place of teaching. There are many, many, many ways of teaching and many, many, many ways of learning, and we have to learn all these ways of learning. We have to do that. So, see, we have thin skin for criticism, but we have thick skin for learning. So this, we have to actually opposite that. Yeah, we have to develop a thick skin for criticism. Why? Because this is what is going to help us get this knowledge. We have to have a non-stick coating. Teflon, yes, it's called Teflon. Non-stick coating. You put oil in it, it runs away. You put water in it, it runs away. This is the modern example. The ancient example is what? Lotus. You see, lotus in the rain, or any water comes into this thing, or water buffalo standing in the rain. Yeah. There also everything goes off. Thick skin. So we have to do the opposite. Thick skin for what? For criticism. Why? Because I have to objectively be able to see without melting down what the person is saying. Not like, oh my God, they said this to me and I'll never get up, I'll never get out of my problems. That's not the idea. So we have to have thick skin for any kind of criticism, because first we have to see, is it a statement of the criticizer? If it is their problem, then I need not be bothered. They have to work on it. I don't have to work on it. And if it is my problem, then I just have to correct it objectively. Either way, I shouldn't be bothered. This is what we saw in verse number 3. If they are telling the truth, I need not be bothered. It is something for me to do. I have to do a course correction. If they are not telling the truth, then why should I be bothered? Why? Because the problem is with them. I have examined myself, I don't have this quality, but if somebody thinks I have this quality, then it's on them. This is how the criticism must be taken. And for the learning, I have to have thin skin. I have to have eyes, ears, everything alive in every situation to see what kind of teaching is coming. That's why the word in vernacular languages in India, the word seva and shushrusha are taken together. Shushrusha in vernacular language also means seva. Guru seva, guru shushrusha. Actually, shushrusha doesn't mean seva at all. For those who know Sanskrit, shushrusha means shrotum ichha. I never know when I can learn from the teacher. So what do? I make excuses to hang around the teacher as much as possible. So you can't stand there in front of the teacher, it looks funny. So you make yourself useful by picking up something or putting away something, and in the excuse of seva. So therefore, the teaching happens in other situations as well. So it's not that the student who has done ashraya is bereft of the course correction, gets the correction done, but in a very compassionate and gentle manner. Most of the times, yeah, there are exceptions. But in a very compassionate and gentle manner, and sometimes in a very indirect manner. So sometimes the student wonders. This is all from examples of people I have seen. Student wonders, why the teacher never puts me with this other person for seva? I like this other person is my friend. How come in the seva I am never with this person? And then it turns out that there was some danger there. There was some problem there for both of them. So therefore they could not be put together for seva. They were kept apart. Why? Because the moment they were put together, they would run away together. Okay, so possible. This part I made up. Okay, yeah, this part is not real. This part I have made up. So like this, something is there. Both want to study, but then they like each other very much. They want to be very much together, but they are always separated for seva. The Guru hopes that they are never together so that they can study, because that's what they want. So like this, in informal ways, you see. And then Pujya Swamiji had trained himself, because he was so compassionate. He was a namesake of his name. He was an embodiment of his name. And so he was so compassionate that he could not even stand the sight of the student's face crumpling up when he said no. So he trained himself never to say no. Very rarely he would say no. He would always say yes, yes, okay, yes, yes. Sometimes even at great cost to himself, he would say yes, yes. And if he wanted to say no, people who have watched him for some time, they will attest to this fact, it would come out differently. Somebody would say, Swamiji, can I go here and do this? He would say, why don't you go there instead and do that? Never, why are you doing this? This is not good for you. That was that. Why don't you go there and do that? If you do that, it will be good for you. Something like this would come out. So there was more of a, like a deviation. And each time we understood, all of us who have studied with him, understood that whenever it was a deviation, like we want to do this, but he's telling us to do that instead, we better listen. We better learn, because there was something there for us to learn. And why don't you not do this, but do this? So like this, he managed he was like Krishna. Really, he was like Rama and Krishna combined. He was like Krishna, very playful and almost a trickster. And so he would trick you out of all the difficulties and difficult tendencies. They would be tricked out of you. Before you knew it, suddenly the antahkarana is clear. Suddenly all the things that used to bother you are not bothering you. And suddenly all the people that you want to talk about, you no longer want to talk about. So there are other ways of communicating, and it is good to learn them, not just because we might be in the position of being a teacher, even otherwise in life, how to communicate the hardest of things in the gentlest of ways, and without there being a fallout, that vyatha, without invoking vyatha in others. We have to be able to lead our lives without invoking anguish and anxiety in others. This Vedanta is a path of zero disturbance. We talk about carbon footprint. Here this is himsa footprint. How big is your himsa footprint? And the himsa is not just physical. Remember, it is vacha, manasa. So even a thought, before we say, oh, the thought cannot bind us, thought does not cause karma phala. But in the Mahatma will also, knowing that the thought leads to action, the Mahatma will give up the thought itself. The thought itself will not be allowed to come. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan manogatan. And so, therefore, this is a very big teaching here, is that if somebody has done ashraya with you, then the responsibility of taking them along without invoking vyatha in them, suffering in them. And that is the idea. So therefore, Pujya Swamiji would never answer. If anybody said, why don't you tell me what is wrong with me? And then other teachers also will say, come again next time, let me see. And then so like this we learn. And then what is the second situation? A friend or somebody, so relative, friend approaches you and says the same thing. Tell me all the things that are wrong with me so that I can correct myself. Who is this friend? Somebody who is, how are they described? Swahita dhihi. The one who is introspective and wants to correct themselves. That kind of a friend. And what will you say? You will say, will you say something like this? I can't wait for you to ask me this question. All this time I have been waiting. Aja, come, I'll tell you all the things that are wrong with you. No. To them also you say, what? You are okay. Why? Because again, we don't know whether they really want to know or they are just saying that, or one part of them wants to know, another part doesn't want to know. We don't know. So better to err on the side of an abundance of caution and say what? Well, I think everything is okay. And in fact, encourage them. Encourage them. I see lot of good changes in you. You don't have to be untruthful. Say truthfully, I see lot of good things in you. I see that you have made great progress. You can say all these things and then they go away happily, and armed with that self-confidence, they will be strong enough to look at what is not okay within them on their own. You have inspired them to be even more introspective, and that's what the teachers do. The teachers also appreciate, because they know, even though the student is coming and saying, please tell me what is wrong with me, what the student wants to hear is validation, appreciation. How good am I really doing? And so that is what is given, truthfully. That is what is given, and then as a result, what happens? What happens as a result is that Bhagavan is there. Here is all about Bhagavat Satta, understanding that you are not responsible for other people's morality, other people's quote-unquote improvement. It's all within the psychological order of Bhagavan. And Bhagavan is there. Bhagavan is the one in whom everybody has taken ashraya. And so that Bhagavan, may he, she correct. You pray for them. You pray for them and then you tell them that they are okay. Because otherwise it's a trap. Everything is a trap here. So even though these three conditions are given, and of course the last condition is a dire condition, there also I will say a few things, because don't go and become a fixer-upper. This is very tempting. Some people are like that. The word fixer-upper came from people who, in the West and all, this is very common, they buy one dilapidated house. And then what do? They change the roof, change the floor, change the wall, and change a few things. And then they sell it for 10 times the price. So then the house in which ramshackle condition it was in the beginning is called fixer-upper. And these people who fix up fixer-uppers are called fixer-uppers. So these are the fixer-uppers of fixer-uppers. And so I know one family that bought this very nice house. They invited me for lunch. It was wonderful, very nice house, wonderful it was. And somewhere in Michigan. And then I went there. I said, your house is great. They said, no, look at the walls, look at this, look at the ceiling, look at the staircase. And I said, what's wrong? Everything is wrong. In fact, we purchased it because we have some remodeling to do. Remodeling. I said, I thought, oh, are you adding a room or are you? No, we are going to break this wall because this is an old house. We want open plan. This is closed plan. So first it was just a living room. Now this living dining room and kitchen, we are going to break all the walls. I said, what if they are load bearing walls? The whole thing, no, we have accounted for that, and all that will be okay. We are going to do other things for that. And then we are going to have open space. And the staircase, you see, is so narrow and going like this. We are going to make it like a ballroom, winding staircase, like in the movies. People coming down in Bollywood movies, like this we are going to make. And then what? We are going to do all these things. I said, that's a lot. You have 3 small children. No, that's fine. We'll do it. We'll make them also do it. And then, then I didn't see them for about maybe 12, 13 years. And then when I go, and then they said, we would love to have you at our place, but unfortunately we are going to bring Bhiksha to the hotel. I said, doesn't matter. Then I was curious because it was this particular family. Now the children are also grown. And then I said, why? We are fixing up the house. Then I asked only one question. Is it the same house? Yes, it is very much the same house. 12 years it takes for Jupiter to go all around. And then after 12 years also, the fixer-upper project is not all right. I said, what happened? Oh, when we were doing this, we found more things wrong with the house. It's not exactly to our liking. And then we have to fix up more things. 16 years later, the house, just to complete the story, the house was fixed. It was exactly how they wanted. And then what? By this time, the children had all gone, flown the nest, gone away somewhere. And then the lady had some, what is that called? Pain in the joints, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, difficult to climb those beautiful staircases. And then what? They ended up selling the house and moving into a small apartment. After all that, 16 years of fault finding, and then where does it lead you? Nowhere. So here in case number 3, where when disaster strikes, you are allowed to pitch in, you are allowed to go correct somebody, there also stop, take a deep breath, do some anuloma viloma, count backward not from 10, from what? 100, 99, 98, 97, don't hurry, aram se, easily count back, and then you can reassess the situation, because there is a fixer-upper gene in all the jivas. Every jiva is born with a fixer-upper gene. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Let me try. And you just take it. You jump and take it out of their control. And then take control of it. Why? Because I can. I know how. But let them struggle with it. Why should they struggle? I should help. No, they are struggling not too much. Little bit. Let them learn. No. I should do this. And then as a result, what happens? They are stressed. Other people are not stressed because they are there. They will take care of everything. They are a bunch of stress. And they are stressed about everybody's life. Oh, what's going to happen to that one? Poor thing, they can't do this. What's going to happen to this one? Poor thing, they can't do this. Everybody's affairs becomes their own affairs. They are not bad people. They are very well intentioned, very well meaning. But a bunch of nerves all the time, a bunch of entangled nerves. And then this nervousness does not have to do with world projects. This nervousness is coming deep within oneself, and that has to be interrogated, not placated by jumping on to other people's lives and minding other people's business. So there is a very good distinction. There are two words that are used for this: caretaking and caregiving. So, if you say I am a caretaker, I am caretaking, that means what? You are taking away the ability of the other person to decide how, when, where and why they should have a transformation or they should do certain things. Caregiving means you are offering the help, and then they can take it or not take it, and both ways you are okay. So therefore, be not a caretaker, be what? Caregiver. If you give, you are offering. And they say, no, okay, no problem, you step back. And usually what happens is that because of this inner restlessness and wanting to fix up everything, one doesn't have that discrimination between caregiving and caretaking. So what is the point of pranayama? What will it do for me? What the pranayama and count down from 100. What will it do for me? It will give me the inner space to see that the nervousness, the restlessness is where? Centered on I, not centered on the other. Centered on I it is, and this desperate need for control, desperate need for knowing everything is in fact from the childhood background, one's own childhood background. And so therefore, that is what I address, that is what I heal. I heal my own issue. It's not about the other. But then don't carry it to the extreme, okay? Because if it's a really dire situation, then you have to jump in. But sometimes we convince ourselves even the non-emergency situation is what? Emergency situation. We convince ourselves because of the drama. So when you see this kind of a situation, what do? You do self-care. I saw two cartoons, two frames the cartoon had. In the one, there was the dog, Lassie, and the man had kept near the lassie all his clothes, his mobile and his wallet, okay? And the man went to swim in the ocean. Lassie, stand guard, meaning you take care of my clothes and my purse, and then I am going swimming. In the next cartoon, three frames it was, in the next frame we see the man surrounded by dark colored triangles. What is that? Sharks are encircling the man, and he's coming out, going in, coming out, going in. When he comes out, he says, Lassie, get help. And in the last frame of the cartoon, Lassie is lying on the psychiatrist's couch, recounting how horrible it was to watch the master. Okay, we are not talking of that kind of a situation. If it's a dire situation, what to do? You have to take care of it right then and there. But most of the time, sometimes we don't know if it's an emergency or not. Err on the side of caution, and then when in doubt, let us all mind our own business and not other people's business. And then what? The next line, last line is still left. It's very interesting, and then we will see it when? Day after tomorrow. Yes. So let me go over the schedule for tomorrow. The puja, even though the flyer says it's going to start at 9:30, it's going to start at 9:15. What time? 9:15. That is the new time. You have to be there at 9:10 because some small help may be required, and so there will be no meditation, no first class, nothing. So go straight, take yourselves to the big lecture hall and sit in the puja at 9:10 itself. Be there. And then because it's going to be a little more elaborate, I think we are going to also chant the what is that called? Ashtottara, 108 names. And so that means 108 plus 108, 216 names. So that's why the puja is going to be little long, because we are going to repeat it, and so it's going to take a little longer time. So therefore I suggested to Swami Shivaswarupaji that we will meet at 9:15, and he is in agreement. So 9:10 we will meet there. 9:15 the puja will start. After that one chapter of the Gita will be chanted, followed by Arati to the Bhagavad Gita that is kept at the altar, and Lord Krishna, who is going to be borrowed from the Sankirtan hall. And then the students, all of you can do Arati. So don't wait and see. Maybe, I don't know how to decide this, but maybe we can think about it. Let me think about it. So maybe at first all the 3-year students can do, and followed by other 3-month course students. Like this we can do. And then so after every chapter there will be Arati. Please keep if you want to go next, stand there and then go next. And if one person is already standing there, don't feel shy. Just say, share an Arati with me. You also go stand there. 2 people, maximum 3. I think more than that it will be a crowd. So 2-3 people can do the Arati together. So everybody can have a chance. All right. So we don't know when this will finish. It might finish by 1 o'clock. Lunch will be late. Eat well at breakfast. All right. Yeah. So 1:30, we don't know when the lunch will be. Then what else? Swami Sakshat Ji is expected to arrive at 10 if the flight is not late. So what we will do is start the chanting at 8 o'clock. We would have chanted maybe we would have chanted the dhyana shlokas and everything and kept it ready. And if he is arriving late, he will give us a signal. He will call somebody or text somebody, and then we will know. And then so we will start chanting, and he will come and join whenever he arrives. And then what else? At 5 o'clock in the evening. So no other Vedanta classes. 3:45 Sanskritam will meet. There is no reason for it not to meet. And then what else? 5 o'clock there is a camp that is being inaugurated. This is a Japanese camp of Mukti students. All right. And so now Swami Sakshat Ji is going to introduce the Bhagavad Gita to them in Japanese, no, in English, translated into Japanese by Mukti at 5 o'clock in our old haunt. What was that? The dining hall. Dining hall, no, it's that side. Okay, yeah. So, above the dining hall, next to the Ramakrishna hall, what is there? That old classroom which we were meeting before. So that is where it will happen. And there will be plenty of room for everybody because the camp is very small. There's only about 8 to 10 students. So whoever wants can go there and listen to the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita in Japanese and English. And now, speaking of Japanese, every day at 5 o'clock there will be a Japanese lecture on the Bhagavad Gita. So if some people want to go there and listen to Japanese lecture on Bhagavad Gita, they are welcome. Okay? Yes. So those, have I covered everything? I think so. All right. Did we say the closing prayer? Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti